Hey, before we start this video, guys, I just want to let PSwans509, username PSwans509, know that he won the giveaway. He left a comment on the giveaway live stream video. He wasn't able to watch it when it was live, but I don't know if he caught the part where he won. So, PSwans, if you're seeing this, go to that live stream video. It's on my channel. I pinned your comment. Hit me up. Let me know how I can get this thing to you. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Upper Left RC. Today we're going to talk about something really awesome, which is these little winches that you can put on your SCX24s. For a while there, I had seen a couple of these out and about that people had used using these things right here. These little lanyard snap together things. And I wasn't sure like if it was even worth it or if it would be effective. I now realize how awesome this thing really is. So in this video today, I'm gonna install another one in this vehicle here, show you how to do it real quick, and then we're gonna get some run footage comparing using it and not using it, if it helps, and the benefits that I think it has. Definitely worth doing. So let's check it out and jump right into it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna wanna do is get one of these. You can pick these up on Amazon. I bought a pack of 10 of these for like $6. They're super cheap. They've got pretty good tension on them, and they're really easy to disassemble. So the first thing you want to do is take this alligator clip off. There's a little screw right here holding it on. There's a hole right here so you can get your screwdriver in there and take it off. And then the other thing I like to do is take this plastic and metal hook off. I've done that on this one here. In order to take this little metal piece off, just use some scissors, spread it apart, pops right out. So once you got that alligator clip off, and that looks like this. And yeah, let's move on to the next step. All right, the next step is we're gonna need some sort of hook to use at the end of this. Now I've ground down the tips of the barbs on these hooks, so it's actually just fine to touch. Still grips onto rocks really well. And all I did was take apart a lure that I had in one of my fishing boxes. I'm sure you could also go and just pick up a pack of fishing hooks at your local hardware store or Walmart or wherever, or even online. This is not going to be used for fishing ever again, so might as well take it apart. I've got it sitting around. Yeah, let's jump to the next step. All right, so I went ahead and ground down the tips of this one as well. Next, we need to attach it to this. But before we do that, we want to install it in the truck so that we can actually get the hook itself to slide through this little bumper hole. It fits perfectly if you have one of these hot racing bumpers. I'm sure the plastic ones, you can cut a little slit or hole in it to fit it through. But for now, we'll set this to the side and jump into the truck. Now, here's the other part that it took me a while to kind of figure out how I wanted to mount it. Obviously, this case is pretty well full of all the components you need for this to work. I was thinking about like taking the case off and seeing where I could fit it. You can mount it on top of the ESC if you'd like, and then run it down through the front of the bumper. But with this body, or most of the bodies, that's not really going to work that well. So as I was looking around, I noticed that there's all this real estate not used under the ESC tray right in here. And this will actually fit right up underneath that ESC tray and not get in the way of the suspension, the arms, or anything. So we'll take a look on the Betty here. You can see the little disc is right in here. See if I can get a better view of that thing. Pop it up. It just sits right in there. It's not even technically mounted in there. It's just wedged in there. And it sits great. It doesn't move around. You still got clearance for the front suspension. It doesn't bind on anything. And the string itself just runs across the top of the steering servo here. And the string runs through out the front, and then I can pull it out, use it however I want to use it. Great little spot. The one thing I had to do to make it fit was to cut this arm off of the ESC tray. It's got 3 other mounting points, and it is not going anywhere. It's still super sturdy and durable. It doesn't take away from the rigidity of the frame whatsoever, especially on this scale. You're not doing anything crazy enough to twist it out. So we're going to go ahead and cut this arm off of the ESC tray, and I'll show you how to get it in there. All right, so I took a Dremel cutting disc and I just cut right through that arm right there. I like to keep it still screwed in when I cut it. You just got to be careful of all the electronics and wires and everything. And then you can go ahead and unscrew it, and then we'll go ahead and mount this guy right up under there. All right, so we went ahead and got that arm removed. And again, there's still hardly any flex. Like, it would take a lot to push down on it. I like to cut this side out in particular just because it's so close to the motor mount that it could, if it flexes, it's gonna hit that and kind of support it versus the other side, but you could cut the other side off as well. Just one of them needs to go though, don't cut both off. Next, you're gonna unbolt the shocks just so you get a little more travel out of it there, so you get a nice open area to work with. And then we're gonna take this. I like to put this little, you could grind this little nub down where the screw was, but it doesn't bother me and it's not gonna hit anything. And then we're just gonna slide that in there. And there you go. It's just like that. Pull this out of frame so you can see. So it's just like that, wedged between the frame and this other arm here, and it's not going anywhere. It's nice and tight, snug fit. And again, it is gonna clear pretty much everything in the front of this vehicle. Once it's back together, you're still gonna get suspension travel. You're not really gonna hit anything. Okay, so now we gotta get this through the front bumper. So we're gonna take this right here, pull a little slack out. I like to wrap it around my finger so I know it's not gonna retract and I'll lose it. And if you just slide this down, there's a little knot at the end. It's way too much work to untie that. So wrap that around my finger, pull this tight and just cut it wherever. We're gonna feed that through the front hole here. And this is the point where you wanna make sure you don't lose it inside of your retractable thing, because if you let go of this string, it's gone forever. It's in there. I'll be right back. Okay, I got my camera sitting right in front of me, so it's hard to work around it. So I just went off camera to fish that through, but it goes right through the hole there, over the top of this brace. See, that just slides right through there. Nothing that it's gonna really rub on to cut it or fray it. So that's a good spot there. I'm gonna tie it around my finger so I don't lose it. And then we're gonna attach the hook to that end. We'll be right back when that's done. All right, so we got our knot tied around it. And because this is like a synthetic nylon material, I like to go ahead and just burn the end, stick it together there. And that'll get rid of the fray and keep it nice and tight. And again, it's just a tiny little knot, so it'll slip through the hole there. And once you get that done, knot might even be a little too big on this one. Close enough. But anyways, now you have your winch, essentially, hooked up, and it just kind of sits in the front there. And you can pull it up above the body, hook it somewhere else if you want to keep it out of the way. But it's nice that it won't retract all the way into the bumper. You could still pull it out. And again, this is just sitting here. It's not mounted in any way. You could hot glue it, super glue it. Yeah, any way you want to secure that. But with the way it sits, it's pretty snug in there. It's not really coming out, so it'll be all right. Now we just got to get the drive shaft back together and bolt the suspension back on. So we'll be right back. All right, so we went ahead and got that completely installed. So you can see it just sits right back there behind the servo. And the servo does clear it. You still get suspension travel. It is a little tighter because it's pushing on that string. So it's pushing on this as it moves in front of that. It still fits past it. You can see. So you still get your suspension travel out of the front. This, for whatever reason, this one doesn't want to go in as far as the Betty does. I think it's this little back plate here is a little tighter. The clearances are a little tighter, but that's okay. Because on this one, for the deadbolt, I can just hook it up top or hook it all the way back here. And now I've got my winch back there. These do have a surprisingly good amount of length on them. You can't see that because it's off screen, but they are, they've got a good amount of length to them, so they're very usable in most situations. But that's how you install it, or at least that's how I install mine. It seems to work really well. I haven't had any issues yet, and like I said, I've had it on the Betty here for a bit. So let's, now that we got it installed, let's take a look at it, test it out, and see what we think. All right, so I quickly went ahead and just set up some rocks here. They're not super stable, but it'll be enough for the test. So first we're gonna try without the winch, see if it can even make it. It's not looking like it. And so when I first, while we're attempting this, which we're not going to attempt for very long, when I first saw this little winch hack come out, I wasn't sure if it was going to be worth it, if it would really work that well. But I will say the constant tension from the, okay, let's hook our winch up somewhere over here, get it under a rock. So now you can see, got it hooked right under here, up and across the top. The constant tension on it is nice. With normal winches, you have like a remote, or some of them you even have to manually turn on the front of the winch. These are nice because they will retract as you're driving. They keep good enough tension for these smaller vehicles, which this one has a lot of metal upgrades. It's pretty heavy. Let's see how it does now. Nice. So we were able to make it up to the top, no problems. The winch definitely helped there. And then it's just as simple as unhooking and letting it go, or hooking it back up to the roof if you want. And see, so you can even tell when I lift the front here, it definitely has enough pull to lift this kind of weight. It will not hang the vehicle. You can't lift the vehicle up with it. So it's not so strong that it's almost cheating and just ripping the vehicle over. It's just keeping tension on the front of the vehicle, and it helps it get up really well. I'm super impressed with this hack. I love how simple it is to install and how cheap it is to install. Like I said, it was like $6 for a pack of 10 of those. Fish hooks can't be that much if you don't have one laying around. But, no, light popped out. Yeah, love this hack. It's really, really awesome. I'm going to go ahead and run the Betty as well so we can take a look at that. And I'll show you, again, how awesome these things can be. All right, so we'll get a little closer look. So I've got the Mofo RC brushless motor in Betty, so I get really good slow crawl out of it. So I can be even more technical with this. Let's see how close we can get up here without the winch. Oh, geez. Rock fell down, my little cheater rock, to get started. And this is a pretty vertical incline, especially if I can flip Betty backwards. Slow crawl it. It's just not making it up there. So we're going to take the winch, slide it out of the front, hook it to these rocks back here. We'll even keep it in the same spot. And then bam, right up and over. So yeah, I think that this is a must-do addition to any of these SCX24s. I love how simple it is, how cheap it is, and how effective it is. I mean, it's so fun to try and find obstacles you could not get up. I mean, there's no way I can get up this thing without this winch. It's just not gonna happen. We'll even go fast. Not gonna happen. We'll even leave this cheater rock down, and you'll be able to see, hopefully, we'll see if I can make it up. Talk a big game and then not be able to do it. That'd just be my luck, right? Okay. So it's not, and even, so you can see that it has enough power to back up when it has traction and pull that winch cable out. So it's not pulling so tight that it's, you know, over tensioning it or making it too easy. It still has the power to back off that winch, but it keeps just enough tension to keep the front wheels nice and tight to those rocks. Come on. There we go. Got the grip, and we're up there. And now we can move on to the next one. So, hope you guys enjoyed that quick little tutorial and some fun runtime. I'm excited to see what else I can use this winch for. But I'm very excited with it. And if you have rocks or really any sort of obstacle that you can make almost vertical, you'll be amazed at how well that works. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.